Welcome to This Explainer. Think of this as a direct, one-on-one coaching session. Today, we're unpacking some seriously fascinating insights from Steve Chandler's work on motivation. We are looking at the actual architecture of our character. If you've ever felt like your daily habits or even your deep emotional reactions are just, set in stone, well, stick around because we're going to explore how you can literally rehearse your future self into existence. Okay, let's dive into this. Is your personality permanent? Seriously, think about how you usually answer that question in your own head. Most of us just kind of walk around believing that the way we act, how we react to stress, or our baseline level of motivation is just who we are, right? We catch ourselves saying things like, oh, I'm just an anxious person, or I'm just not a highly motivated guy. We treat our own emotional patterns like they're this permanent, unchangeable fixture of our existence. But what if that whole idea is a complete myth? It's crazy how often we walk our eye with this ingrained belief that our future and our personality are determined by some fixed genetic code, like it's hardwired. But the reality? It is radically different. Your personality is absolutely not determined by a genetic code. In fact, as Steve Chandler points out, your personality isn't even determined by your personality. You are the thinker who determines who you will be. How you act is who you become. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that you are entirely in the driver's seat. There is literally no biological destiny holding you back from being exactly the person you want to be. Section 1. The Spock Effect. How acting reshapes thought. To see how this isn't just some abstract theory, let's look at a pretty spectacular pop culture case study. The year 1965 marks a very specific beginning. That's the year the actor Leonard Nimoy first started playing the iconic role of Spock on Star Trek. Now, when he took that role, he was just an actor putting on a costume, right? Throwing on the pointed ears, playing pretend. But playing that hyper-logical, completely emotionless alien ended up kicking off this incredible, totally unintended personal transformation for him. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer power of acting. Nimoy himself actually noted, Spock had a big effect on me. I am so much more Spock-like today than when I first played the part in 1965 that you wouldn't recognize me. I'm not talking about appearance, but thought processes. Doing that character, I learned so much about rational, logical thought that it reshaped my life. I mean, just think about the weight of that statement. By pretending to be a highly rational alien, he literally rewired his real-life thought processes. Incredible. So the lesson here is profound, but it's super actionable. Gather energy and inspiration by being the character you want to play. Just like Nimoy, you don't have to wait around to naturally, magically become the person you want to be. You can literally draw energy simply by stepping right into the role of your ideal self. If you want to be a highly motivated, super confident person, start playing the character of a highly motivated, confident person. The act itself actually generates the reality. Section 2. Emotions as tools. Taking control of the script. To really grasp the underlying mechanics of how this works, Chandler shares his own experience of actually taking an acting class to combat his overwhelming stage fright. Now look, we've all heard a million times that our deliberate thoughts control our emotions and that our feelings are caused by what we think, but let's be totally honest with each other. In the heat of a difficult moment, that almost never feels true, does it? When you're stressed out or angry or just terrified, it feels like this all-powerful wave crashing over you. It feels like the emotion has complete power to just hijack your thinking and completely ruin a perfectly good day or even a good relationship. But here is the massive epiphany Chandler had in that acting class. He realized that emotions are actually tools. They are tools for you to use, work with, and change at will. They are not these demonic forces. They aren't these uncontrollable entities that just possess you out of nowhere. Think about it. Just like a skilled actor can summon up tears or summon joyous laughter on cue for a scene, you have that exact same capacity to work with your emotions. You are the one holding the tools. Section 3. Good acting versus bad acting. The fine line between acting and being. While working with a great acting teacher named Judy Rawlings, Chandler discovered a literal superpower. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the binary choice it presents. He found out that he could actually motivate himself simply by thinking and acting like a motivated person. But, and here is the massive catch, he also realized he could depress himself by thinking and acting like a depressed person. We are constantly acting out a role, whether we consciously realize it or not. The posture you adopt, the tone of voice you use, the thoughts you entertain, you are always performing. You're either performing the role of someone who is depressed and stuck, or someone who is motivated and completely capable. And that brings us to the core, pivotal message of this whole concept. With practice, the fine line between acting and being absolutely disappears. It just vanishes. If you act the part of a confident, motivated person day after day, it ceases to be an act. Consistent, deliberate acting eventually fuses with reality. The role you play simply becomes the person you actually are. Think about why we absolutely love great actors. We love them because it seems like they actually are the characters they play, right? They convince us entirely of their reality. But poor actors? Oh man, they're the ones who just can't be their part. They're stiff, they're awkward, they don't convince us at all. Honestly, we boo at those people. We call it bad acting, and nobody wants to watch that. Section 4. Rehearsing your future. Preparing for your greatest role. The crazy thing is, we don't realize that we miss those exact same opportunities in our own real lives. When we fail to step into the role of the person we aspire to become, we are essentially turning in a terribly bad performance in our own lives. So how exactly do we prepare for our greatest role? Here's the formula. First, deliberately think like your ideal self. Second, act the part both physically and emotionally. But the absolute most important step, number 3, rehearse daily without waiting for authentic circumstances. You do not need the perfect, authentic circumstances to transform into who you want to be. You don't need to wait until you magically feel perfectly motivated to act motivated. Don't wait for inspiration to strike like lightning. You just need rehearsal. Rehearse the attitude, rehearse the action, right now, exactly where you are. Which brings us to a really crucial question, and it's the one I want to leave you with today. Who are you rehearsing to be today? Because make no mistake about it, you are rehearsing. Every single thought, every slump of your shoulders, every quick reaction is a rehearsal for your future self. So are you rehearsing being anxious? Are you rehearsing being stuck? Or are you going to finally take control of the script, step boldly into the character of the person you truly want to be, and start rehearsing your own greatness? The stage is yours. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and honestly, I cannot wait to see the role you choose to play.